So Andrew Yang got owned. And he had a clip get taken and went a little bit around on Twitter.com. Now, I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch any of these debates. I don't live there. I don't care. But Andrew Yang ran for president, right? Now, the year is 2021, right? We can talk about the most annoying motherfuckers out of all the 2020 presidential candidates. We can talk about the most annoying motherfuckers, and that's the Yang Gang. We're talking about, like, at least the Tulsi people know that they're pieces of garbage. Like, at least, like, they are very, like, you know, they hate Democrats, they hate gay people, they hate trans people. They're all pretty confident in that. But the Yang people, the thing that I hated about them, and that I still hate about them, is that they've got this, like, fake confidence in all of their ideas that, like, is just, it should not exist. These are, like, the most confident-ass motherfucking supporters who will list out, like, fucking, like, copy and paste a bunch of bullshit from the campaign website. None of it makes any sense, but they read it and they think that they solve the fucking universe, right? And that's what I hated about these motherfuckers, right? At least the Elizabeth Warren people, they're liberals. We know they're garbage, right? You know, the fucking Pete Buttigieg people, they're liberals. We know they're garbage. The Biden people, don't get me started. But the Yang people always tried to do, oh yeah, Andrew Yang's to the left of Bernie Sanders. He's so far left that, you know, he discriminates against mentally ill people. This is something he hasn't started just doing now in his New York mayoral race. He's been doing this shit for a while. During the presidential campaign, he at some point said that mentally ill people would not qualify for the freedom dividend. What? What? Also, what does mentally ill mean in that subject? Like, does someone having an anxiety disorder make them mentally ill? What does that mean? Having, like, a binary of mentally ill versus whatever, what's the opposite of that, question mark? Right? That's not how the world works, right? It's not, I am perfectly healthy, I am mentally ill. And, like, there's no, like, what? Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? Like, someone can fucking lose a loved one and have fucking, like, you know, depression that lasts for, like, 3, 4, 5, 10 years even. Does that make them mentally ill? Does that mean that they should be having 2 strike laws placed against them if they, like, cry on the subway or something? I don't know. But anyway, this clip goes viral. And Yang's response is, like, the only reason I'm talking about this, really, is because Yang's response is horrible. So let's watch.
Yes, mentally ill people have rights, but you know who else have rights?
Yo. Can we talk about the delivery here? The delivery. Yes, mentally ill people have rights, but you know who also has rights? Me.
Yes, mentally ill people have rights, but you know who else have rights? We do. The people and families of the city. We have the right to walk the street and not fear for our safety because a mentally ill person is going to lash out at us. Yes.
I'm gonna raise the volume a little bit, and I want you to, like, really listen to what this guy is saying here. This is this is not only, like, I mean, Andrew Yang's been promoting neo-Nazi propaganda for, like, 3 years now, but this is, like, just...
Mentally ill people have rights, but you know who else have rights? We do. The people and families of the city. We have the right to walk the street and not fear for our safety because a mentally ill person is going to lash out at us.
Like, I don't... What? That, like, seriously. Mentally ill people have rights, but so do we. What? That's like saying, yeah, you know, black people shouldn't be murdered by police, but, you know, what about, you know, all lives? You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like, what? You know, it's like, this is like, it's so ridiculous, man. Like, this shit is ridiculous. This guy is a fucking freak. He's a freak. If you are caping for Andrew Yang in June 2021, I've got news for you. You're a fucking moron, right? And so, again, and the other part of this is like, what? Like, mentally ill people are going to lash out at you on the street? Like, 9 times out of 10, right, if someone is going through a hard time, they're not going to lash out at people on the street. They're maybe going to, like, call their fucking ex-girlfriend or something and cry on the phone and leave a really embarrassing voicemail or something. Like, and I'm just saying, like, people that are going through problems do not lash out, like, walking down the subway and then they go, like, "Wah! Like, no one does that. Like, seriously. Like, and if someone does that, right, like, why like, I have no idea what the fuck this guy's talking about. Seriously, it's ridiculous, right? But and then he follows this up. So he sees the clip is trending because SE Cup tweets about it. And so this is his follow-up. This is like, it's really bad. Like, it's super fucking horrible. And agree, right? Okay, so SC Cup says, oof, there's surely a better way to present the idea of keeping New Yorkers safe from violent criminals who also suffer from mental illness and advocate for their treatment without stigmatizing all mental illness sufferers as not us, right? And so Andrew Yang says, agree. Have been an advocate for mental health and will continue. First of all, that's not true. Like, a couple weeks ago or a month ago, this guy was promoting 2-strike laws, right? If you have a mental illness, you deserve not 3 strikes, but 2 strikes because you're mentally ill and you can't be trusted or some shit, right? And again, this doesn't go back, that's just his mayoral race. If you go back into his presidential race, Lord have motherfucking mercy, that mother guy. This guy was going on Ben Shapiro's show saying that fucking disabled people shouldn't have fucking the freedom dividend. People with mental illnesses shouldn't have the freedom dividend, right? That kind of stuff. They should be forced into, like, you know, treatment against their will. It's like, this guy is fucking crazy. This guy promotes Nazi, not even neo-Nazi, like, this guy's old school Nazi propaganda, right? This is ridiculous. Went to counseling as a young person. Also, what are these sentences? Like, what are these sentences? Like, this reads like a fucking second grader writing a fucking, like, you know, trying to write a fucking Harry Potter spin-off fan fiction, right? Like, okay, agree. Have been an advocate for mental health and will continue. Went to counseling as a young person. Full context here was mental illness is behind half of anti-Asian hate crimes. We need to get them compassionate, comprehensive care and not let them languish on our streets. What? You know, this is another thing I've noticed, is every time Andrew Yang is criticized, he always goes into the stop Asian hate thing. And this is ridiculous, because I've made a couple videos that are very critical of Andrew Yang over the course of his mayoral race, and even some of the videos that I made during the presidential primary, right? I get, like, bots from, like, fucking Yang subreddit saying, hashtag stop Asian hate. Why are you contributing to violence on my fucking random Andrew Yang videos? Again, even from, like, fucking, like, 2019, right? Like, it's bizarre. They're just, like, name searching Andrew Yang, and if you criticize him, it's, oh, why do you hate? Why do you hate? Oh, why? Andrew Yang said that gay people don't have the same rights as straight people, but you pointing that out is hate. Oh. Andrew Yang said disabled people should have to go through forced sterilization, but he's Asian. Why do you hate? Right? So I'm like, this guy's a freak. Like, every single thing that he gets criticized on, he spins into stop Asian hate. And again, that's the problem, is, yeah, there is a huge fucking problem with anti-Asian hate crimes. When you have this motherfucker going up there pretending like getting criticized on Twitter is a hate crime, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And trying to say, like, oh no, it's, you know, all mentally ill people deserve 2-strike laws, should have, like, forced sterilization, get fucking forced mandatory, like, you know, in like fucking, you know, what's that bullshit that they throw you in, like, the fucking involuntary ass shit? Like, you know, that's what he was advocating for. And if you criticize any of that, it's like, oh, bro, what about those hate crimes against Asian people? And it's like, what the fuck does that have to do? This shit pisses me off. Anyway, Andrew Yang sucks. More news at 11.